Alrighty, what is going on, everybody, and welcome back. My name is Joe, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about TCGplayer Direct. I'm going to be answering some questions that I couldn't find answers to whenever I first was thinking about signing up for Direct. And yeah, but before I jump into that part of this video, I want to first do a little story time. I received a Pokemon card in the mail, and I just want to go over it. So if you're not interested in hearing this kind of funny story, just fast forward a minute or two until you see me on my computer. That's where we're going to go over the direct RI invoice. So, real quick, story time. So, somebody on OfferUp, let's just call him Scott for the sake of this video, wants to be a funny guy, but he's not actually that funny. So basically what happened, long story short, is I made a deal with a gentleman that I've seen selling a lot of cards over the last year or two on OfferUp, and decided to make a deal with him for a card that I personally don't have in my collection, but I'm really excited to add at some point. Obviously not right now. What that card is we made a deal on the, as you can see, it's the, I don't know why my camera's not, there it goes, on the Giratina V from Lost Origins. Now, as soon as I got this card, there were some immediate things that jumped out. First is the back is in absolutely terrible condition. There's actually like a dent on it right here. I don't know if you can see it with the camera angle, but like there's a lot of scratches, and this was not the agreed upon condition. But let's address the elephant in the room. It's not even a real card. I don't really care about the condition if the card isn't even real. And that's exactly what we got here. So one of the big things that immediately jumped off to me whenever I opened this card was it's not textured. And when you have a card like this card specifically should be textured. One of the other main things that jumped off me is it's really glossy, almost like unrealistically shiny. And to show you what I mean, this is another V. And I know it's not the exact same V, but you can really see whenever I tilt it this way. Look at how much shinier this card is than this one. This is a real one. If you turn it over and look at the back, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it real well, but the real one is a darker blue and the fake one's a little bit lighter. The real one feels the fake one feels a lot thicker than the real one. It just feels different in your hand. And if you look at the text on the front of the card, I don't know if you guys are going to be able to. See if I can't get my, come on, camera, work with me here. There we are. The writing on the fake card is almost like blurry. Like it's like they couldn't get the resolution correct when they copied the card. And so if you just look at it, the wording looks blurry. It's very blatantly obvious if you hold a fake card in your hand, especially when you have a real one next to it. It's even more obvious that it's fake. Now, the one last kind of thing, and I said this was a funny story, so I guess I got to tell you guys the funny part about it is, so after I got the card and I realized that it was fake, and I reached out to, as I mentioned earlier in this story, the deal was made through OfferUp, but I ended up taking it outside of OfferUp, so we exchanged phone numbers, and then we ended up doing it through PayPal with goods and services. And when I realized the card was fake, I immediately messaged the gentleman, Scott, back and told him that it is fake and I would like a refund, in which he immediately started messaging me telling me that the card isn't fake and that he bought it from a real place. And when I pressured him into telling me where the real place was that he purchased it from, he told me he purchased it at BP gas station, and if I have any issues with the card's authenticity, to call BP and they'll help me. Yeah, you can't make this up. So obviously, I did not call BP. Like I said, I contacted PayPal, and they actually already contacted the seller. And I think he has until either the 12th or the 14th or something like that. It's like 2 weeks from now where he can respond and let me ship this card back, and then he can give me my money back. Now, in case I get a question down below, I'll answer it right now. What I ended up paying for this card, and this is one of those, like, if the deal is too good to be true, it probably is. But sometimes you got to roll the dice and give it a go. I paid $150 for this card, and he paid for shipping. Clearly, that was a bad deal because it's fake. But PayPal's goods and services, I should be covered, shouldn't have any problem getting my money back, and we'll call that a lesson learned. So that's it for story time. I appreciate y'all listening. I'm going to jump on over to my laptop now, and we'll get to the real meat and potatoes of this video and probably what most of you are interested in. So I'll see you over there in 1 second. Just give me a second. All right, everybody, we are over here at my laptop, and I got TCGplayer Direct all pulled up, and we're going to take a look at a reimbursement invoice that I already have completed. I figured this would be a really, really good one to show for this video because obviously it's already completed, it's already been inventoried, and all the costs and everything are already settled. So if we can manage to get there. It goes. A little glitch there for a hot second. So as you can see, once I clicked on this one that's already been completed, it says that I sold 655 cards for a total of $220.91. Obviously, that will be split 50-50 with TCGplayer Direct because that is their fees for selling on Direct. Also, my total replacement fees down here, in case you're wondering what that is, it can be a variety of things, but most of the time what it is it will be for cards that they sold on your behalf, but you ended up not being able to send in, or cards that you missed. So I did have a few cards. I think there was 7 or 8 cards whenever I sent in this invoice that I just either made a mistake when entering my inventory, or there was some kind of error made where I didn't have the cards. Whether I couldn't find them or not, I just didn't have them to send in. So it was only about $9.50. Now, before I get too into this invoice, I would like to point out some of this stuff over here. As you can see, basically what this is this is another way that they take money from you. And if you were to send in some cards if you were to list cards at near mint, as you can see, I have these cards listed at near mint, and then you send them in a card that they want to argue is moderately played or light played, or is anything that's not near mint, basically, they will charge you for the replacement of that card because you gave them a card that wasn't what it was supposed to be. Now, between me and all of you guys, I really wish that I could see some of these cards. I know they go into a special little box where basically you can request them back at any point, and I will request some cards back in the future because somewhere on this invoice I saw there was even one card that they said was damaged. It wasn't lightly played or moderately played. It was damaged, and I can guarantee you all, and we'll do an unboxing whenever I finally get that box back from TCGplayer Direct, that I would never send in a damaged card. I did not send in a damaged card. And if I remember correctly, it was like a VMAX that they said was damaged too. I would have never sent in a VMAX. So that's all this is. So on top of this $9.50, I do believe it was about $10 worth of not replacement, but fees for condition and stuff. So ultimately, when everything was all said and done and the dust settled, it was just a hair under $20 worth of fees that were taken back from them. So we'll jump at the end. I'll go over exactly how much money what was left over at the end after they took all their fees and after shipping was paid for and everything. But if you look down here, one of the main questions that I was searching the internet for whenever I first started getting interested to see if TCG Direct was worth it was, how do they organize their invoices? And there is shout out to TCG Bulk Kings. He actually was one of the only people that I found with a video online that actually showed an invoice like I'm showing you now from Direct. And as he said in his video, it is alphabetical, and it's also organized by condition, and it's organized by set. So as long as you have your cards organized alphabetically, it will speed up the process. Now, I built this account that I'm currently on right now into my personal account before I decided to change it into the Direct account. So when me and my wife decided to go Direct on this account, and we realized that all of our cards were not alphabetical because I used to store them by set and then in order of how they go in that set, I decided that we needed to alphabetize all of our inventory, which is about 33,000 cards. So it took us, I think, 12 hours or so for us to but re-alphabetize everything to get ready for Direct. And I'm very glad that we did. I can't remember whose video it was, but somebody has a video online of them talking about packing a TCGplayer Direct order with about 1,500 cards, and he said it took him about a day. Now, I don't know if this was like a 24-hour solid period working on it nonstop, or this was him going to sleep for 8 hours, or whatever it was. But 12 hours, 24 hours, a whole day seems like an awful long time to pack 1,500 cards. Now, to pack 655, sorry, cards. I did have my wife help me, and with the two of us doing it, we were able to complete it in about an hour and a half, an hour and 45 minutes. So it really wasn't that bad. Even if I was by myself, I think I could have did it in about 3 hours. So moving on down here, like I said, it is organized in order of alphabetically. So that's one of the first things you want to do whenever you sign up for Direct. Before you hit live, you don't want to get rushed with a bunch of orders and then be putting your sets in alphabetical. So make sure you are ready to go. And TCG Player, I thought it was kind of funny whenever I was reading them in the beginning, because they send you all kinds of warnings and all kinds of messages saying, like, make sure your inventory is in order. Make sure you're ready for a crazy amount of orders. You're going to receive a substantial amount of orders, I believe is the way they worded it in the email I got. So, and they were right. You did get a lot of orders, which is awesome because it helps move product. But I'm going to try and I'll cover that at the end of the video because that leads into another question. Is TCG Player Direct worth it? And this is an opinion-based video, so you might not agree with me, you might completely agree with me. So I believe it is worth it. It helps move inventory, and that overall is what's the most important. Is if you're selling a lot of cards, or if you're just moving through a lot of cards, and I'm not even selling a lot, but just moving through a lot of cards, you need to find a way to move them. You can only sell so many bulk 1,000 packs of 1,000 cards, like bulk, before you're like, I really, really wish that I could just move some of these cards for the fair value of it and actually make something off of them instead of just breaking even on your bulk. So that's where TCG Player Direct comes in. To answer another question that I saw online is do the lower end cards, the cards that are worth 3 cents, 4 cents, 5 cents, do they actually sell? And the answer is yes, they do actually sell. And that was kind of I don't want to say it was a hard pill for me to swallow when I first started doing Direct, because I wanted to make these thresholds of, I wanted to list all of my non-holographic cards at like a minimum of 5 cents to try and pad myself. But the thing I found out is as long as you're selling cards, you're almost always making money in some way. You might not be making money on that individual card, but moving inventory, getting cash flow, and that being the most important. Nobody's making money with thousands of dollars worth of cards sitting on their shelf for 2-3 years not selling. Even if you have to turn it, and I don't want to say lose money because you make money in the grand scheme of things, but you might have to lose money on a couple cards just to keep the inventory turning and burning, so this way you have constant new stuff coming in. And that's, if I could stress something to somebody new that's trying to get involved in TCG Player Direct, is don't be afraid to sell some cards at a loss, because the ones that you sell way above what you paid for it definitely outweigh the tiny little bit of cards that you sell that you don't actually make money on. So, but is TCG Player Direct worth it? Absolutely, it is worth it. Even with them taking 50%, it is worth it because of the main reason I just said. You cycle a lot of cards that are undesirable and not really wanted, and they're only wanted by specific people, either to complete sets or for competitive play. So this definitely helps move stuff along. The only negatives that I can really say about TCG Player Direct, and this is just my personal opinion, is they are extremely difficult on the conditioning of the cards. I don't know how they're judging the conditioning, whether it's done by an automated machine. I don't know if that even exists yet. I know there are card sorting machines, but I don't know if one that actually conditions the card exists yet. Let me know down in the comments section if I am just sleeping at the wheel at this, or I'm absolutely right and it doesn't exist yet. Technology's just not there yet. But they're very rough on condition. Like, I'm really careful about how I condition my cards, and I'm the last couple reimbursement invoices that I did, I've gotten dinged at least $5 to $10 on just about every one on at least a dozen or a couple dozen cards. So if I could give some criticism to them about this is I would really like to openly debate with them some of the conditions of these cards and really have them explain to me why the card was labeled as moderately played or why it was labeled as damaged whenever it is not in any way damaged. So want to go over the money, and I guess this can cycle into is TCG Player Direct worth it? It really comes down to what you pay for cards. So the total in this invoice was $220. After everything was all said and done, I think after they took their 50% and their fees and everything, I ended up with right around, it was like 110, $112 or something. It was just over $100. Call it 110, and then after you take this $10 away, it basically drops me to 100. When everything was all said and done, after the condition fees and I shipped it in a padded flat rate envelope. And that was 8 and some change, so rounding up, call it $9. When everything was all said and done, I made about $87 on this order. Now, that $87 does include the cost for the cards. So if you take out the cost of the cards that I spent on this, I ended up making right around $60 on this. So for the 2 or 3 hours worth of inventorying it, and then the 2 or 3 hours, it was about, like I said, about an hour and a half that me and my wife took to pack this. So give or take about 3 to 5 hours worth of work for these cards. I ended up making about $60. So it's not great, but this is just direct. Obviously goes without saying, it's really nice to be able to make a small chunk of money. It's not as good as I do on whenever I sell the cards outright and I take all of it, but not having to do the legwork of having to ship all of these orders out individually. If I remember correctly, I believe this was like 200 and something orders for 655 cards. If I remember, it might even be more than that. I really don't want to mail out 200 plus orders. I'm a very busy person. I'm trying to run future plans, and I guess I could talk about it on this channel. I would like to, like every other person that does this stuff, I do have future plans to opening a card shop, so maybe we can do some things on this channel to help me achieve that goal. But not having to ship out 200 plus packages and doing all this extra legwork, it is actually worth it, in my opinion, for the $60-ish. I think it was a little bit over 60, but it was right around that $60 mark for the sake of this video. Let me know down in the comments if you guys think that that is worth it, or you think I got completely ripped off. But yeah, so I'm going to leave this video right there. If I missed anything, let me know. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, please let me know. I'm always trying to communicate with you guys and try to make my videos better. So I will see you all in the next one. Have a good one and stay safe.